reduces the risk of toxins getting in. What the astrocytes do is they work with the capillaries and regulate what gets through, so that the brain gets the nutrients it needs, but not the toxins. Our last set of central neuroglia is ependyma. Sometimes you'll see them called ependymal cells. They are kind of like an epithelium, where they form a sheet, but they're actually part of the nervous tissue rather than a separate epithelial tissue that's attached. They line cavities in the central nervous system, spaces called ventricles and canals. Some of the ependyma will make the fluid that fills those cavities. So if we put it all together, this one's a neuron with a couple of oligodendrocytes wrapping myelin around it, astrocytes controlling the capillaries and keeping things in place, ependyma along that little cavity, and a couple of microglia wandering around looking for things to clean up. Now, questions on central neuroglia? The peripheral neuroglia are Schwann cells. They also provide myelin, but they're a different cell type, where the oligodendrocytes each have a couple of myelin sheaths attached to them. The Schwann cells, each cell is a sheath, so there's no cell body sticking off from this little roll that goes around the axon. It just has the cytoplasm squished in the outermost layer, included, and the nucleus. So a myelin sheath kind of looks like there's a sleeping bag wrapped around the axon. Questions on neuroglia? Neurons, we're going to add two more details to the structure, and that is parts of the axon. The beginning of the axon, where it connects to the cell body, is called the axon hillock, like a little hill, because it's wider. The base of the dendrites is wider too, but at the chemical level, what's going on in the axon hillock is different. At the other end, the tips of the axons are widened out into bulbs. You'll see a variety of different names used for these. Our textbook calls them synaptic knobs. I've also seen synaptic bulbs, synaptic buttons, axon terminals, synaptic terminals. If I do a multiple choice or anything else where I'm giving you the name of it, I will say synaptic knobs. If there's a fill-in where I ask you the name of it, any term that I've ever seen for it will be acceptable. So this is probably the most diversely named thing in anatomy. Where they're enlarged, they release neurotransmitter to cross a synapse and give the message to the next cell. And then here's a fun version, which I wish I could take credit for, but I found it online. So before we get into neuron classification and how they work, let's go ahead and take a break.